In today's digital age, the intersection of media ownership and artificial intelligence is transforming how information is created, distributed, and consumed. This investigative documentary explores verified trends, expert insights, and real world developments shaping the future of news, technology, and influence. From media consolidation to AI powered platforms, we examine how systems, not just individuals, shape what billions of people see every day. Who controls information? How are algorithms influencing visibility? And what does this mean for the future of journalism and public awareness? This is a deep, balanced, and research driven exploration of one of the most important shifts of our time. The world is changing faster than ever before, and at the center of that transformation is information. Who controls it, who shapes it, and ultimately, who decides what billions of people see, hear, and believe. Because today, information is no longer just power, it's infrastructure, it's influence, and increasingly, it's business. In recent years, a growing number of researchers, journalists, and media analysts have begun asking an important question. What happens when fewer entities control more of the media landscape? At the same time, artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming embedded into nearly every part of digital life, from search engines to social media to the way news itself is produced. These two forces, media consolidation and AI expansion, are now intersecting in ways that are reshaping the global information ecosystem. And for many observers, this moment represents a turning point, not necessarily a crisis, but a crossroads, because the structure of media ownership has been evolving for decades. What was once a diverse network of independently owned outlets gradually shifted toward consolidation. Large corporations began acquiring multiple platforms. Regional voices became part of national systems. And over time, ownership concentrated into fewer hands. Today, that trend continues, but with a new dimension: technology companies. Unlike traditional media owners, many of today's major players built their influence through platforms, software, and data systems. They didn't just distribute information, they designed the systems that determine how information flows. And that distinction matters because controlling a platform is different from owning a publication. Platforms shape visibility, algorithms influence reach, and design decisions determine what gets attention and what doesn't. To better understand this, many analysts use a concept known as media capture. This doesn't suggest wrongdoing. Instead, it describes a structural reality where ownership, incentives, and influence can shape how information is produced and distributed. It's about systems, not assumptions, because every media organization operates within economic realities: advertising, subscriptions, partnerships. These are necessary for survival, but they also introduce relationships, and relationships can influence priorities. This dynamic has existed before. Historically, industries that rely heavily on specific revenue sources may become less critical of those same sectors. Not always, but often enough to be studied. Now, with artificial intelligence, a new layer has been added. AI systems rely on vast amounts of data, and news organizations generate data constantly: articles, reports, investigations. These become part of the broader information ecosystem that AI systems learn from. As a result, partnerships between technology companies and media organizations are increasing. These collaborations can include content licensing, data integration, AI assisted tools in newsrooms. On one hand, these developments offer clear benefits. They can provide new revenue streams, improve efficiency, and support innovation. But they also raise important questions. If AI becomes deeply integrated into journalism, who ensures editorial independence? If technology companies help fund content ecosystems, how might that shape coverage? And if algorithms determine visibility, how transparent are those systems? These are not simple questions, but they are essential ones, because the relationship between technology and media is no longer optional, it's foundational. At the same time, the physical infrastructure behind AI is expanding rapidly. Data centers, the backbone of cloud computing, are being built across the country and around the world. These facilities require significant resources: electricity, cooling systems, land. In many cases, local governments welcome them for economic growth, but community responses vary. Some see opportunity, others raise concerns about sustainability and long term impact. This reflects a broader challenge seen across industries, balancing innovation with responsibility, growth with oversight, opportunity with accountability. And this brings us to a deeper question: what kind of future are we actually building? Because beyond infrastructure and economics, there are ideas shaping these decisions, worldviews, philosophies about progress. Some analysts point to a growing influence of long term thinking in parts of the tech world, often called long termism. At its core, this philosophy encourages thinking about the long term impact of decisions. In many cases, that can be positive, but critics argue that in some interpretations, it may prioritize future possibilities over present day realities. The truth is, the tech industry is not unified. There is no single ideology. There are competing visions. Some emphasize rapid innovation, others stress ethical boundaries. Some prioritize global solutions, others focus on market driven growth. But one theme appears frequently: a strong belief in the transformative power of technology. A belief that better tools can lead to better outcomes, more efficiency, more automation, more scale. But that raises an important question: what happens when efficiency becomes the primary goal? Because artificial intelligence is already reshaping industries, from logistics to customer service to journalism. In newsrooms, AI is increasingly used for research assistance, editing, content drafting. In many cases, it enhances productivity, but it also changes the process. Journalism has always been more than information. It's about judgment, verification, context, human perspective. When parts of that process become automated, the structure of news begins to shift. At the same time, search platforms are evolving. AI generated summaries are becoming more common. Instead of directing users to multiple sources, they provide a single, synthesized answer. This is convenient, efficient, but it also changes behavior. If fewer people visit original sources, what happens to those sources? What happens to independent journalism? And what happens to diversity of perspective? Because strong information ecosystems depend on multiple voices, different angles, different viewpoints. When access narrows, even unintentionally, the system itself changes. Research has also shown that AI generated summaries can sometimes lack context or contain inaccuracies. This doesn't mean the technology is unreliable, but it highlights an important reality: AI reflects the systems it is built within. Which brings us back to platforms. Today, much of global internet activity flows through a small number of digital ecosystems: social media, search engines, content platforms. These systems are designed, optimized, continuously refined, and at their core are algorithms. Algorithms determine visibility, they influence reach, they shape attention. This doesn't imply intent, but it does mean influence exists. Because even small changes in algorithms can affect millions of people. For creators and journalists, this creates a new reality. Distribution matters as much as content. Visibility is shaped by systems that are not always fully transparent, and success is often tied to engagement, clicks, shares, watch time. As a result, emotionally engaging content often performs better. This pattern has existed in traditional media, but digital platforms amplify it at scale and at speed, which leads to another question: is the internet still as open as it once seemed? Technically, yes. Anyone can create a website, publish content, share ideas, but in practice, most activity happens within major platforms because that's where audiences are, that's where discovery happens. This creates a paradox. The internet is open in theory, but structured in practice. Even independent content relies on infrastructure, hosting services, cloud systems, search indexing, which means control is layered, not always visible, but present. And understanding those layers is essential because it shows that influence in the digital age is not about a single decision. It's about systems, networks, interconnections. At the same time, alternatives are being explored. Some communities are building decentralized networks. Others are developing local infrastructure. These models aim to reduce reliance on centralized platforms. They are still limited in scale, but they show that different systems are possible. The challenge is adoption, because large platforms offer convenience, reach, and integration. Leaving them comes with trade-offs, especially for creators and businesses. So the question becomes, should we leave these systems or engage with them more critically? There is no single answer, but awareness is key. Understanding how systems work, how information flows, and how visibility is shaped. Because the story of media and technology is not just about companies or platforms, it's about capacity. The capacity to shape narratives, to influence attention, to guide perception. And in many ways, that capacity has never been greater. This transformation is still unfolding, and the decisions being made today by companies, institutions, and individuals will shape the future of information for years to come. Because in the digital age, you are not just consuming information, you are interacting with it, responding to it, helping shape it. Understanding that reality is the first step toward navigating it. Subscribe, stay informed, and continue questioning, because the future of information is being written right now.